Hello, happy Friday. I think we're streaming. I hope we're streaming. How's everybody doing? Hello, Diana and Sandy and Wayne and Dean. Hey, Dean, I didn't even see you in the chat. Sorry, bud. How's it going? Warm and sunny in the UK today. Excellent. Yeah, it's warm and muggy, like humid. I'm gonna tip this up just a hair. And humid, like humid here in Wisconsin. That's how people make fun of us in Wisconsin, who are not from Wisconsin, who hear us say Wisconsin. This is Wisconsin. We have that nasally thing going on. Hey, Tim, how's it going? So what's everybody up to? Oh, just turning off my stream here. Okay, good. Everything is actually working the way it's supposed to be. So, quick little story. I think it was Blab. I don't remember which stream it was. But I had bought a different cord eating. Ooh, what are you eating, Dean? I just had lunch before I started the stream. I had some blackberries and blueberries and some mixed nuts, a banana with some peanut butter, and then a piece of chocolate. I love blackberries. Blackberries are so good right now. Oh my god. So anyway, what I was talking about, I had a cable to hook my iPad up, and that cable, it was wind up. Okay, yeah. Quit on me. And, you know, on the iPad, it's USB-C. So the cable I had gotten was USB-C. Actually, let me back it up. Where's my thingamajobber? Here it is. Hey, Harley, how you doing, bud? Ooh, Chinese. Oh my god, Dean, that sounds so good. I love Chinese. Especially the crab rangoon. Oh, to die for. That stuff's so good. So, I got this hyperdrive dock. It was a Kickstarter thing from an established company, not like just a rando Kickstarter. But it's a USB-C. It was designed for iPad, and it has the HDMI, the power delivery, micro SD and SD, USB, and headphone jack. So I thought this would be awesome for me to use the iPad when I got to do different stuff, like when I want to live stream and have power while I'm live streaming and be able to download my photos and all this other crap, right? So I bought it. And for the most part, I like it, but the problem with this is it's supposed to, I can't plug it in because I have the thing plugged in, but it's supposed to plug into the port and like be snug and just fit, and it does, but it's not snug enough. I think there's enough play in it that's causing all of the freak out, like the flickering that we saw on Wednesday. So in order to alleviate that, I had purchased a USB-C to HDMI cable that also just had a power delivery port on it to charge the iPad. And that cable was working great until like 2 days ago when the third use, it was either on Blab or it might have been, it was on Blab because that's when I was crawling under the table. That cable just died. Like, just quit. I'm like, come on. So I bought another cable, but I also have a backup cable unless that one takes a crap. So today, maybe I'll climb underneath the table, or maybe not. Hopefully not. Hello, Drew. How's it going? Trying to do some complex modeling geometry on a building project I'm working on. Awesome. That sounds pretty cool. And hello, Elaine. How are you as well? Hello. Just to say, I kind of joined the chill out because I'm on holiday and eating dinner on a nice terrain with the wife. Ooh, that sounds fantastic. Elaine, you and your wife enjoy your holiday. Thanks for popping in. And we will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. You and tech are not friends, right? Like, I mean, I love tech, and it's obviously amazing when it works. But boy, when the stuff fails, it fails hard on me. And like, I just have all of the problems, it seems. Can you get a short extension cable so the docking thing isn't right up against the iPad? That is actually what this backup cable is for, to plug just directly. In fact, one of the things I needed to check is if it would even fit, which it does. So, like, yeah, that's what this is for. But I think what I decided is that I'd like for the streams when I'm just hooking the iPad up, I'd like one that'll go direct. So we'll see. Basically, this is my backup option, regardless of whatever the situation is, and this will hopefully be a permanent solution, the cable that I'm using now. Nice weekend to all, and don't forget the challenge. Yes, this Monday is the black and white photography challenge. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do for that, by the way. I also have to start something here, so I have to look at my computer for a moment. Here we go. these two. And hopefully this actually works the way it's supposed to. Ah, not shot that yet. Yeah. Hello, Kenneth. How are you today? Oh, God. Why do these things just not... See, here's a tech problem right here. I'm trying to start a thing, and the thing is not starting. Things are just not working for me today. Oh, my God. All right. What are we going to do about this? We're going to delete this, and we're just going to go with this key, and then maybe this will work. Been a minute since chatting with you on Blab. Yeah, it's been a while, but that's cool. I'm glad you're popping in again, and happy to have you joining. Oh no, I've got like 5 versions of this thing running now. Great, okay. Cancel all macros. Let's try this one more time. We're going to see if I can get this to work the way it's supposed to. Aha! It's working. Okay, finally. Got my thing working. Awesome. All right. So I can actually edit now, or pretend I'm going to edit, right? Which is what's it going to be today, guys. Great info. Thank you. Yeah, the Blab has been super fun. I'm excited for the black and white photos coming this Monday. I think you guys are, as usual, going to come up with some great work, and that's always fun for me to see. So I'm looking forward to that. Come on, team, no edit, right? What do you guys got up in store for me to keep me from the edit? I'm going to grab a photo, and we'll see where things go here. I would like to edit another one of, I got to find Anjali here. And I believe it's this one that I wanted to edit. So let me take a peek and see if I've actually made changes to this one. Yep. So we're going to export this. What am I looking for? Save to files, maximum available. I got to shoot on Sunday. Hopefully I get something for that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Chat, not too much editing. All right. You guys are going to have your work cut out for you then. So, tell me this. iCloud Affinity Imports. Here we go. Tell me this. Tell me this. Dean, yeah, what are you shooting? Drew, tell me about the design project you're working on. That sounds like a pretty intense project. And Wayne, tell me what you got planned for this weekend. And Diana, tell me what your daughter is playing with or doing. Sandy, you guys gotta talk to me. In the meantime, I gotta crank up the brightness so I can actually see while I'm editing here. Let's get over to Affinity and get that imported. Here we go. Plus, oh, question. I'm doing another drum shoot. Oh, this is the glitter one coming up. That's gonna be super cool. I can't wait to see those photos. I think that's gonna look awesome when you get that done. Here we go. So, have any of you who are hanging out here watched my latest video, the comparison of the different raw editors on the iPad? If you did, would be very curious to hear your thoughts on it. I worked a lot on that video. It actually ended up splitting it into 2 separate videos because it got way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So what'd you think? What'd you think? What'd you think? I'm super curious. I'm sorry. I'm a little needy on this video. Because I'm really hoping it does well. And it's doing pretty good as far as like the views and stuff. But, you know, there's always that little bit of my brain that gets all panicky and tries to tell me that nobody's going to watch the video. So, super curious. All right, let's do a little bit of fixer-uppering on this here. Like, show. And duplicate selection, and then deselect. Ooh, I forgot to turn on the show touches so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you guys can see when I'm actually doing things. So here, and boop, and we're just gonna stretch it up a little bit to make sure it fits there. Done deal there. So right now it's doing all right. It's got 495 views, almost 500 views. That's not so bad. I really wish there was an equal for Lightroom. Yeah. Now, one of the things is, and I have to figure out how to test this, but one of the things that you should be able to do is use Lightroom for free on your iPad. The only issue in doing that is you have to store all of the files locally in Lightroom on the iPad. Because if you don't have the sync, of course, it's not going to sync. So that's something that I want to try to test out. Oh, Sandy, I'm really sorry to hear that. And obviously, that's, of course, incredibly understandable that you wouldn't get the challenge done. But yeah, I'm very, very sorry for the loss, Sandy. And I hope everything comes out okay through the time of dealing with that. Very sorry to hear that. Wanted you to log in. Yeah, so I think what you might have to do is log in, and it'll give you a free trial for like 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks the free trial ends, and then you can keep using it, I think. But like I said, I have to test it because I want to do a video on that if it can be done. Yeah, Sandy, definitely stay strong, and very sorry to hear about that. And if there's anything that we can do here today for you to try to ease that, let us know. I gotta get a little bit, coming in a little too close to her arm. That should be a good spot right there for this. Hello, Manny, how are you today? I saw you just hopped into the chat. How is everything going? Oops, I gotta deselect here. Okay, here we go. Boop. And that is fixed. So, love this photo. You still need to move the shingles in the garage. Yes, I do need to move the shingles in the garage. I will move the shingles in the garage after the live stream, babe. Man, you're watching at work. Awesome, awesome. Waiting for the battery plate for my new FeelWorld FW760 monitor. Then I can use it outside with a camcorder. Awesome. That sounds pretty cool. Wayne, which camcorder are you using? Is that the same camcorder that you used for the photo that we saw this past Monday? Curious to know which one you're using. Just being here listening is taking my mind off things. That helps. I'm glad that we can help that way, Sandy. Very much so. And yeah, I'll be keeping you and your family in my thoughts this weekend as well, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I'm glad you're here and that you're working on everything. Okay, so I need to do something though. I need to grab from. So I'm still using the Affinity Photo Beta. They're still updating, obviously. They still have their beta program going. So what I'm going to do is create a copy of this image, an Affinity Photo copy, and save it to this Beta Originals folder. Oh, I already have one there. Haha, I didn't realize that. Because I'm going to want to pull that in, I'm going to need it for the color grading and stuff. So import from cloud, iCloud, Affinity Beta Originals. There it is right there. Is that the finished one though? Nope, that's not the finished one. So I actually made some changes. Uh-oh. That's it, the Canon Legria HF625, G25. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna close this. Yes, I wanna close it. I'm gonna go back to the other version of Affinity. And I am going to, because I wanted more clouds in the sky is what I ended up doing. We're going to do a save a copy, and we are going to save history, and we are going to save it in that folder. If that Lightroom hat works, I might need to get an iPad, even though I'm not a big Apple fan. Yeah, we're gonna replace that. I'm gonna try it. I wonder what would happen if I wonder if I can even sign out on Lightroom here. Settings. You are subscribed. I can sign out. So what happens when I sign out? Are you sure? Are you about to sign out? Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I'm sure I want to continue. Okay, don't have an account. Sign up. So it looks like what you would have to do is sign up, create a new account, and okay, so it won't let you edit. Okay, so maybe not. Let me just make a dummy account here. Joe, we're gonna go with Joe Smith. Ooh, no, you guys, I need a name. I need a fake name for this account that I'm gonna create. So give me a crazy cool fake name that I can use for this fake account that we're going to make here. All right, so I need to figure out which version of Affinity I'm in. I need to open my. Did it finish saving? It did finish saving. I need to open my raw file. There it is. Bend over. Bend over. All right, that's it right there. Okay, so we have Mr. Ben. I should make the B capital, I suppose. Ben Dover. Okay, now I need a funny fake address. So give me your best fake address. Or email address. I suppose I need an actual real email address. Because I'm going to have to confirm this. So I need to make up a quick, dumb, fake email. Let's see here. I just need to do something in my Gmail. I'll do Heniadis plus bendover at gmail.com. Heniadis plus bendover at gmail.com. And then a password, we will do bend over. This is so bad. Don't use bad passwords like this. I can use the program to look at photos, but when I click on anything to edit, it gets cranky. Interesting. Now, Tim, are you doing that with your original Adobe account that you formerly had with the subscription, or are you doing it with a brand new account? What I'm going to try to do here is set this up. I'm going to sign into this account on my other iPad and leave it for the trial to expire over there, and then see if I can continue to use it to import photos and things like that after that trial is expired. Because according to Adobe, I clicked on sign in. Okay, I'm guessing it's because this is your original account. Because if we look at Adobe's website, let me show you. I think, let's see, what happens when my Lightroom trial expires. Trial Adobe. No, I don't want Photoshop. Here we go. Here's the question: can I still use Lightroom even if your trial ends? Some functions are disabled, developed. So maybe you can't. I thought they had made it so that you could, but you didn't get the sync stuff. But let's test it. So what is my password so far? Bend over. At least one number or symbol. We'll use the @ symbol at 2. Bend over at 2. Date of birth, whatever. We're just going to put some numbers in there. We were born in 1981, let's say. I should write that password down so I don't forget it. Otherwise, I won't be able to get into my Bend Over account. So let me put this into a note. Let's see, fake Adobe. It's Heniadis plus bendover at gmail.com, and it's bendover at 2. Okay. Sign up. Sign up. Oh, it's not 8 characters long. 26789. 6789. Okay, let's try this again. And it needs to be. Oh God, aren't passwords so irritating? Passwords are so irritating. Capital B. Bendover. Hey, Lewis, how's it going? The features for the pro version are listed there. Works with everyone. Send them a message. Okay. Not include your name. Oh God. I just want a dumb fake account here, Adobe. Why do you gotta make this so complicated? So platypus monkey is my password. No capital. I need a capital. Not include. Okay, finally. Oh my God, I got a password that they're gonna let me use. PLATYPUSMONKUY capital Y at 26789. Healing brush, selective adjustments, geometry, raw editing, cloud storage, copy pasted it, not yelling. No problem. That's what I figured. It was a copy pasta. All right, so we sign up here and it's loading and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yep, that's good. So get started, edit one of your photos. We're just going to leave it at that. And see what happens here with, let's just import a photo. And we'll grab a raw file that we know is a raw file. Here we go. And, yep. Okay, so here we go right here. Edit raw photos from all your cameras. Use the Lightning to SD card adapter to import your raw photos. Automatically sort. Share photos on the web. Yeah, so they clearly limit the functionality here, even if you try to sign up with a free trial. So, yeah, with Lightroom, if you don't have the subscription, you don't get to use the stuff. It used to be, so we will sign out of this because we don't need bend over anymore. Obviously, they want you to subscribe, which, fair enough, right? It's their business model, and that's fine. I get that. But that means you can't. Damn you, Lightroom, shakes fist when kneeling on the floor. I'll tell you what, like I said, what I would do is I would use, so I actually didn't say this, but it's 334524, 334524. I'm just doing my two-factor verification there so I can get back in Lightroom. Okay, we are back in Lightroom. So now I need to do my basic edits here. First before I do anything else. So I just need to do my cleanup and look at any of that other kind of stuff. I don't need to do a ton of that here. So let me set this up. That way I can yicky yak while I have something to work on. Next week, the next Thursday video is going to be even more interesting because in that video, I'm comparing the features of those different raw editing apps that I compared the editing of in yesterday's video, right? So yesterday we just focused on the raw editing and how well they edited the raw files. So that was all we looked at. And then next Thursday we're looking at like the import tools, the export tools, the file management tools, the actual editing tools, all of that kind of stuff. And there's some definitely interesting and different conclusions that I come to about those different apps after looking at their feature sets and ignoring their actual editing, the actual editing performance of them. And I think you'll be surprised at what I would use if I only had one app that I could use for editing my raw files. But interestingly enough, as you guys know, I don't actually use Affinity to edit my raw files. It's an option, and I have, in the beginning I did, but then I decided that I didn't really care for it, and I think we've talked about this specifically, and I did an example to show you why I didn't like Affinity as much for editing my raws. But if I had to like only use one app and couldn't use Affinity and another app, I would use Affinity. But in the end, I would like to have a raw editor and Affinity. One of the things I'm not like super keen on with Affinity is the fact that once you edit your raw file, there's no way to go back to the raw file with those edits preserved. Because when you open the raw file, it opens you into the editor. And then when you commit your edits, it takes you into the photo persona where I am now. And, Lightroom has the catalog that it saves all of your edits to. So you can go back to that raw file and you can see the edits you made. You can make changes to them. But in Affinity, if I reopen that same raw file, it opens again into the develop module and the raw edits are just gone. I think. I should actually test that. That's one of the things I didn't test. I should double check that. Let's do that right now that I'm thinking about it. So what I need to do is grab a fresh raw file. So I'm going to go to Lightroom, and we will take this, and we will just dump this export original into files. I really need to improve my editing processing skills. It's a journey, just like learning photography is a journey or anything else. Improving your editing and processing skills is also a journey, and it's definitely something I recommend you work on and improve. And I know I've said this before, and I'll just say it again. I definitely believe that this form factor of editing, stylus and tablet that you interact with directly, is the future. Not necessarily iPad. iPad is obviously one road. Surface Studio is another road. Maybe there's going to be a third-party option that develops or comes into play. I don't think it's going to be Android, especially with Google officially pulling out of the tablet market, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. I find it curious. Not curious, but I find it... what's the right word? I find it a little bit flabbergasting, honestly, that Google and Android had such a hard time transitioning and making a workable tablet operating system and ecosystem. Apple really has excelled in doing that and creating a tablet that really works well. The Surface obviously is a completely different modality, because with the Surface you're running Windows, and it's sort of more of a a laptop first and a tablet second. And with Windows Metro back in Windows 8, they certainly tried to shift to that touch future, but obviously they kind of botched the way they did that, because they were just like, this is the new Windows, and the people revolted, basically. So super interesting. All of this sort of development stuff I find to be really, really interesting. Okay, so we're going to import that raw from the cloud. Here it is right here. And I'm going to make some changes to it, and then I'm going to re-import the raw and see if those changes are preserved. If they're preserved, then that means that Affinity is actually like creating a sidecar or writing something alongside that file in the file system. But I don't think they do. Hey, Mike, buddy, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you out shooting in Windsor, too. That was awesome. And Mike, where's your damn checklist, Mike? I mean, come on, Mike. Where's your checklist for packing? Have I taught you nothing? Winky face. I'm terrible at winking. I think they have pulled out so they can just buy someone else. I didn't consider that, but here's the thing, though, right? I don't think the hardware is the issue with Google and Android and tablets. I think Android's the issue, and this isn't me bashing Android. Like I totally respect Android as a platform, but it's very clear that the tablet form factor requires more than what Google and Android and the other manufacturers who have worked with Android have been able to develop, as far as both operating system and the interface of that operating system and the app ecosystem around it. And I don't think hardware is going to make any difference if that's what you mean as far as buying somebody else. I can't see them coming up with a different non-Android based tablet operating system. Maybe this would be hilarious, right? Maybe they'll buy WebOS from LG and use WebOS for their tablet. I'm obviously being super facetious, but all right, that's good, Mike. You do better next time. Lewis says, I've been thinking lately about how time-consuming raw editing is, and if it's possible to get great results straight out of camera with straight-out-of-camera JPEGs. I would say, so yes. Oh, you're going to get so hacked on the replay of this stream. That was just my one-time two-factor authentication code that you guys saw there. That wasn't my actual password, so... I mean, I'll probably change my Adobe password anyway, but yeah. But getting back to, hey, testicles of iron, how you doing, man? Or woman? I don't know. I'm assuming with testicles, that's maybe a bad assumption. Hello, how are you doing, testicles of iron? No gender assumptions here. Development company they have in the past. You're a dude. Okay. Good to know. I mean, the implication is there with testicles of iron, but you never know, right? And I would hate to make a wrong assumption on that. But how are you doing, testicles of iron? Development company they have in the past had a friend that worked for someone they bought. They now work on things they can't talk about. Interesting. Okay. Well, I would love to see even more competition in the tablet space, because if there is more competition, that's going to make it better for all of us. So, for them to pull out of the tablet market is not a good thing in the end. I don't think it's a good thing. I found it to be interesting, but I don't think it's a good thing. And for the market, maybe it's a good thing for Google, and that's fine if it's the right thing for Google. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Can't ever know nowadays, and yeah, I'm a soundmate. I hear you, man. You can't. And you know, I know not everybody is down with, you know, the non-binary ideas behind gender and things of that nature. But, you know, I try to respect people's individuality and how they feel about stuff like that. So I try not to make assumptions and, you know, mispronoun people. But anyway. Right. I gotcha. So back to your question, or sort of comment, Lewis, about straight out of camera JPEGs. So the answer to that is yes. Yes, you can absolutely get good straight out of camera JPEGs and skip the entire raw editing process if you want to. What I recommend you do if you want to do that is, let me get a drink of water here real quick. What I recommend you do is go into your camera's settings, and within your camera there should be a number of whatever they're going to call them, picture modes, presets, whatever. It's basically an internal set of raw edits that the camera applies to the raw data before it generates the JPEG. And what you can do is, number one, test all of those out and see which one of those you like best. And then after testing all of those out, you can also, depending upon the camera, actually customize them, right? So like, let's say there's one that you really like the general look of, except you feel it's a little bit too saturated, as an example. With certain cameras, and I shouldn't say certain, with a lot of cameras, you can go in there and you can say, okay, these are the settings for this particular camera profile, but I don't like the saturation, and you can actually dial the saturation down. So what you're essentially going to be doing is customizing the basic set of raw edits that are applied to your images in camera and then turned into JPEGs, and those become your in-camera JPEGs. You know, I'm not sure what you're shooting, but I can't remember what kind of camera you use. But if you have a Fuji has kind of become legendary for all of their profiles, or their in-camera presets, and how good they are, and how a lot of photographers choose Fuji because they don't want to shoot RAW and they do want to be able to shoot JPEGs and get really good quality. So take a look at what you have for in-camera options as far as setting those profiles up and customizing them. Test those out to see if that works for you, and if it does, then you can maybe skip the entire raw editing process and just get those in-camera JPEGs and boom, good to go. So that's what I would suggest. All right. How we all doing? Okay, so I wanted to do something like very visible to see here in this edit, principally so that when I try to reopen this raw file, it's very obvious to us if it has or has not had the edit saved with it. So this is just whatever the editing we're going to do. We're going to go develop. And now with that develop, I'm in Affinity, and it's created this Affinity photo file that is currently just being held inside of the app. So now let's just reopen that same raw file again. And I was right. That's what I expected. When you reopen a raw file in Affinity, back, 10 minutes ago, what I was talking about, you don't get, none of those raw settings are preserved with the raw file. So if you wanted to reopen a raw file and tweak the raw edits in Affinity, you'd have to have your own, basically your own database of the raw changes that you made, so that you could come back in and reapply those and then make the adjustments that you wanted to make. I think that's the downside to this. That's basically the same thing that happens with Camera Raw. But Camera Raw may create a sidecar file. And I'm going to try another thing. I don't know if this is a thing that they offer. I'm, again, just creating some whatever changes just to whack it around. Sync before, sync after, toggle clipped highlights, rotate clockwise, rotate counterclockwise, swap before, after, sync before, sync after. I wonder if that sync after does it. So I'm just going to, I tried that sync after. Now let's commit this change. And go back again, so now I have 2 of them, and go back and once again try to import and see if the sync changes did it. Nope. So there doesn't seem to be a way that you can do that. So Sony a7 II and the whole Fuji debate is becoming an excuse for me to get a new camera that I really don't need, but that Fuji X-T3 is too sexy. Thanks for the advice. I'll play with the settings this weekend for sure. Excellent, excellent. Good luck with that. You know, I'm sure you can do it in camera and get really excellent JPEGs. You just have to figure out what's going to work best for you. I feel like I'm in a group therapy session. Guys, I want to get a new camera. Help me talk out. And that's me yelling this time. All right, so I'll tell you right here, right now, you don't need that camera. You don't need that X-T3, Lewis. You've got the a7 II, which is an amazing camera, right? It's an amazing camera. And you can shoot and create badass images with that a7 II because it's all about you as the photographer. It's not about the camera. It's about you and using it and creating it and your creativity and your skill and you as the photographer. So, don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Hey, Paul, how are you? So, Conan Fox, I am using Affinity Photo to edit my pictures, and I am on a iPad Pro 12.9 inch is what I'm using. Now, one of the very first things that people say to me or will say when I talk about this is, oh, well, you know, I guess you need a Pro iPad to do this. You don't have to have one of the Pro iPads. You don't have to have a Pro iPad. Pro iPads are great, but it doesn't have to be a Pro. And yes, it is, for me, it is absolutely as reliable as editing on a laptop. So, real quick rundown of my system, Conan, sorry, is in Lightroom first. I'll do my edits on the iPad in Lightroom. So, you know, I'll take my raw file and I'll do whatever raw edits I'm going to do, you know, blah, blah, blah. I should undo that because I want to preserve whatever that was. And then once I'm done with it, I bring them into Affinity. So this is the image that I was actually working on right here, just doing some cleanup and touch-up. And then I'm going to actually be doing some compositing here. But see, the thing about these Friday Hangouts, the running joke is that I actually don't do any editing because we're too busy chatting, and I don't actually get any work done. So it's always up to you guys as to whether or not I actually do any editing on these streams. But yes, I love editing on the iPad. I think Affinity is fantastic. I'm absolutely going to test Photoshop when it comes out and see which one works best for me, and we'll go from there. But Affinity is amazing, and I highly, highly recommend people do not discount this as an editing solution because it's great. All right, so I'm just looking around for any other changes I need to make as far as touch-ups go, which I don't see. So I can now move on to skin softening. A friend of mine has a studio he rents out, frequently sees professionals coming in all the time with T4i era cameras. Exactly, right? Like, the camera is so not the defining factor here. You know, same thing for me. I use an Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II, micro four thirds camera. And I'm not bashing the camera. You know, it does a great job, and I am able to use it to make the kind of images I want to make. Boom, you know, done deal. Drew says, I got a 6D Mark II about a month ago as a birthday gift from my wife and dad. That's awesome. Fabulous camera. And Tim, I bought an iPad Air based on Spyros' encouragement. I can attest that you don't need an iPad Pro. Until I got it, I was shooting an 06 era 5D, right? 5D's a rock solid camera, man. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick pause here and talk a little bit about my Patreons and my stuffs. So if you guys appreciate the things that I do, I would greatly appreciate any support you guys can give. So there's 2 ways you could do that, 3 ways you could do that. Number 1, you can check out my merch store. Whoops, if I could type the merch store in. It is shp.photo/merch. And there I've got t-shirts and hoodies and stickers and coffee cups and phone cases and things like this. And if you want to support me with a bit of merch, that would be a merch purchase, and you want to support the Take Some Damn Photos tagline, that would be fantastic and amazing. Tim, you bought a coffee cup this morning. Thank you so much, man. Tim, you are absolutely amazing. You are super awesome. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. Don't take that the wrong way either. So you could catch any of this at shp.photo/merch. If you want to take another step, you could go even further and support me on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heniadis. And these links have been popping up into the chat. And on my Patreon, there are a number of different levels that you could join at and support me on an ongoing basis and get some really cool perks as well. And Tim and Drew and Mike and Elaine and PM Images and Michael are all patrons, and I appreciate every single one of you who have joined to support me as a patron. Like, it's incredible, and I thank you for that. And if financial support isn't an option, that's totally cool. I respect that. Sharing my channel, sharing my videos, letting people know about me and what I do, and inviting them into the streams and stuff, also an incredible way to help. And of course, you can always subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Hit the like button, all that kind of garbage. Thank you very much. I do thank all of you for your support, all of the support that you give, coming here on the streams and everything like that. So thank you. And mid-roll / plea for support is done, and we'll get on with the editing. I think in a studio, since you can control the light, you can get excellent results even with the phone. Since I'm more of a street shooter, it's tougher. That is a good point. But that is also, as you followed up, Lewis, it is also me making excuses, right? One of the reasons I did opt for Micro Four Thirds and wasn't so concerned with getting a full frame is because I am shooting primarily in studio situations and can control the light and don't have to worry so much about, needing like incredible low light performance, as an example, with, a full frame because I am shooting indoors under controlled lighting situations. Shooting street, sometimes full frame can be really hugely beneficial for that if you need that low light performance. All right, so we're just doing a little bit of skin softening here. I have my macro set up for this. If any of you are curious about how this skin softening works, I have a video that I can link to, so just let me know if you're curious. I have a question that I still run into when transferring over photos from my SD card to my laptop. It deletes the file after downloading. Am I just downloading the files in an incorrect way? So Conan, when you're deleting them to your laptop, when you're downloading them to your laptop, how can you give me an overview of the actual applications you are using to download them and the process that you use? Because without more information, I can't nail down where that might be happening and how we can tweak your system so that it doesn't delete them off the card. Might be good to know the OS. Yes, thank you, Tim. Also the OS you're working on. So if it's Windows or Mac, or I guess it could be Linux or BSD, or iOS or Android. Who knows? We actually kind of live in this bit of a platform utopia. Yeah, Dean, I'm thinking the same thing. There's probably a tick box that needs changing, but we have to figure out where that tick box is for sure. Okay, so the skin softening is done. Do I have my new Dodge and Burn set up here? I don't. So I will do it with the eyes instead, and use these as my Dodge and Burns is. And I am working on the Dodge and Burn video, so I need to temporarily turn off this mask and then bring up my curve spline so I can make some changes to that. There we go. And then we'll turn that mask back on and we'll rename this layer the Dodge. Untick Bach, which says delete files after transfer. Yeah, that's probably what it is. This conversation is turning out worse than I expected. Instead of getting a new camera, you guys are going to make me get a full studio space with an iPad and a pen, of course. My wife's Spidey sense should be tingling right now. Okay, yeah. Might be guilty as charged with that. I love studio shooting. Like, studio shooting is so fun for me, and it's so amazing. Just absolutely an incredible experience that I really truly enjoy. The creativity of working with the lighting, of doing the costuming that we do, and all of these other things that we do is so exciting. As an example, in fact, this weekend, this Sunday, I have a shoot. Not going to be a live shoot. Sorry, Dean. I know you want some live, but I don't have any live scheduled yet. But I'm going to be building a set piece for this photo shoot that we have coming up, and that's going to be a fun build. I'm going to be doing behind the scenes of that on my Instagram and stuff, so you can see some of that. So Diana, I do have a course on Lightroom, but I do want to make it clear that the course that's on Lightroom is for the traditional Lightroom Classic version of Lightroom. I'll post the link into the chat. I don't have it yet, but I'm working on a course for this new version of Lightroom. There's definitely overlap between the two versions of Lightroom, and much of what's in the old Lightroom course is actually applicable to the new, but this still deserves its own course. So if you're, depending on which version of Lightroom you're using, that course may not be the right course for you. So I'm going to grab that link and I'll drop it into the chat for you here. But just be aware that it's for the desktop Lightroom Classic version of Lightroom. Photo. And I do have, I haven't like started fully working on it yet, but I have plans for this course here. Lightroom. Okay, Lightroom course. And I also, like, I think I might even do a whole, I'm considering just a whole course on editing your photos on iPad. So it would be like Lightroom, Affinity, and the whole management aspect of like managing your files, the RAWs, or however you're importing and exporting all these different aspects of things. Okay, so Conan says, MacBook is the platform I use. I connect my SD card to my laptop and download all the photos that I take after. I'll check to see if it's just the settings. Thanks, guys. Yeah, because it shouldn't be deleting them from your card. But if you're using Lightroom, it's a possibility that you have the, I wonder if I can show you on here. Let me see if I can show you on here real quick, the option that you might have checked. So it might even be that it's not actually deleting them, but it's just moving them from your card to your computer. So let me do this here. Let's see, I need to do screen capture, add. There we go. Okay. Can you guys? Okay, sorry about that. I do not know what happened with the sound there. Where did it pick that second microphone up from? Because I didn't even add a second microphone. Sorry about that, guys. That was not supposed to happen that way. Anyway, what I was trying to show you is the difference between that move versus the copy with Lightroom. And if that's what you're using, that's probably what's happening is it's moving. Funny. You guys are a riot. Yo, if we were taking drugs right now, this would be the best stream of all times. You guys are awesome. Oh, God. Okay, there were other questions here, so I want to back up. Let's see here. Drew said, I plan on working on some studio space work for my furniture building so I can take better photos of my pieces when I finish them. Awesome. That's super cool. I look forward to seeing that. And Rick said, do you have a rule about how much space should be left over the head when shooting or editing a portrait? Some people, photographers, cut it very short over the head while others give a bit of headroom. Yeah, I honestly don't have a rule. It really depends upon the shot that I'm creating and the story that the shot is telling. So sometimes I do come in tight and I'll have very little headroom above. I tend not to do cutoffs just because I tend not to shoot that tight. But I've done cutoff shots before if it's appropriate. So yeah, I don't really have a rule. It's just whatever ends up working for the shot that I'm taking. And sometimes I don't even know what works unless I've taken shots closer and further back and seen and felt the headroom space depending upon the photo that I'm working on, creating and shooting. Let's see. Paul says, I've upgraded my mobile to the Samsung A70. Is Lightroom same as on the iPad you use? Yes, it should be the same. That Lightroom mobile on your A70 should be the same with all of the same features that Lightroom has on the iPad and on my iPhone. Because between my iPhone and my iPad, I see the exact same features and editing options and tools. And to my understanding, Android's Lightroom is also the same. So I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I think there's feature parity between those. I broke it. I did break it, right? The best video platform to use for video editing. So Conan, you're on a MacBook. I highly, highly, highly recommend Final Cut Pro X or Final Cut Pro 10 for editing video. It's a $300 one-time purchase, which is not cheap, but it's not like, incredibly expensive. And it's a very good video editor. For me, I believe it's the best option. It's intuitive, it's easy to use, but it's also, very powerful and quite literally a pro-level editing application. But it doesn't have to be, and it isn't like overly complicated as far as working in it. So you can do quick, easy edits fast, but you can also do more intense, complex edits if you need to. That's my editing platform of choice. So, it's a little bit funny too because I was joking with my wife that I should eat an edible before we start the show. Shh, it's still illegal here in Wisconsin. I didn't, but I was joking about it. We were joking about it. I needed to use, Christian, how's it going, bud? Oh, you said something too about the AD600 back up here. Did I miss that? I saw it. Yeah, you did. The AD600 is obnoxious. So much control. It looks like an amazing light, and I would love to have something like that. I might get like an AD600. That would be really cool. Something to add for the Wednesday wind-up, right? Yeah. A little bit of edibles and then wine on top of it. That'd go well. I wonder what it brought in for sound on that that made it so wacky. Excuse me. The crop above the head only matters with competition photos. Yeah, that's probably a really good point, Paul. It's okay. I'm watching you in Michigan. You're safe. Mike, Mike, what part of Michigan are you in? Because I'm going to be in, Leaves chat room. I'm going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan in July. Yeah, it's July. But if I recall correctly, you're in the UP, aren't you? I'm just guessing based upon the fact that you were up in Windsor, Canada recently. Anyway, yeah. So I was setting up for Dodge and Burn here, and you guys successfully have managed to keep me from doing almost any editing at all for the day. I've gotten a little bit done. You have a wonderful Friday as well, Conan. Thanks for hanging out and joining the chat and the show, and hopefully we see you come back again. I'm always happy to answer questions and share, my processes and everything else. So thank you for joining. Team no editing, right? Team no editing. Except people are waiting for these photos. Okay, you're near Detroit. I don't know how far Detroit is from Kalamazoo. I'm going to look that up. Detroit to Kalamazoo. Oh, it's like 2 hours. Okay, so that's a bit. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to be in Kalamazoo for a con, for an anime convention, which I'm very excited about. This will be the 3rd year that I've been to that convention. It's called Doki Dokkan. Love it. Such a fun convention. It's a heck of a drive for me. It's like a 6-hour drive because I got to circle around Lake Michigan to get there. I wonder if I could take the ferry. I should see if I could take the ferry because I've never taken the ferry across the lake. That might be kind of cool. Wisconsin. Whoops, wrong place to type. I'm gonna see if it gives me a ferry option. It doesn't. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so holy crap, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to do a little bit more here, and then we'll probably end up wrapping this show up, because I have 2 videos that I want to try to get recorded today. The ferry is great. Did it a while ago and avoid Chicago. Awesome. Do you need to pay to go in? Yeah, you do need to pay to go into the convention. It's not too super expensive. I think it's like maybe $35 for the whole weekend. Let me grab the link for it. Doki Dokkan, Kalamazoo. Let me see how much tickets are, and I'll post the link into the chat so you can check it out if you want, Mike. Yeah, it's like $40 for the whole weekend, I think. Oh, $55. They have like early bird pricing tiers, and it gets more expensive as you get closer. A 1-day pass is $35. Here's the con page. Christian, that's a good question. Spyros, let's see here. This and the Gun Toning Babe on Insta are commission work. So this one that I'm working on right here, this actually is a commission, a client job that I work. This is Anjali. She is an amazing cosplayer, and I actually met her at Wizard World Comic Con in Madison. So, I've totally lost my brain thought. So yeah, this one is a commission job. The one you're talking about on Instagram, let me bring it up for those of you who might be wondering. Instagram, new tab. Instagram, Insta, oh my God. Instagram.com/Heniadis. That's my Instagram, by the way, if you guys want to follow me, if you aren't already. .com/Heniadis. So this one right here, this was not a commission shot. This was just a shot that I did with a person that I was working with, just for fun. I love this shot. I love this shoot. It was really an exceptional. I'm really happy with this. Okay, so Christian, I work with a small handful of models very frequently. So as an example, like Angela is a model that I work with very regularly. My friend Trisha is another model that I work with pretty regularly. My friend Erin, although she's moved to California now, so I'm not working with her nearly as much. My friend Noelle. Like, this is the smaller handful of models that I work with regularly. People that I trust, they trust me. We're compatible creatively, and work together really well. And I'm not opposed to working with other people. And I also am kind of always, open to that possibility. And I don't want this to come off arrogant, because I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I do have people contact me fairly regularly, models who want to collaborate. So I always try to be, what's the right word? Careful. And when I say careful, what I mean is like, if I say yes to everybody, all of a sudden I'm going to be shooting all the time. I'm going to have a ton of photos to edit, and I'm going to be behind on all of the things that I'm trying to do. And so I try to pace myself with my photo shoots, and I do like sticking to working with people that I know and trust, because we collaborate well together, and they know how I work, and I know how they work. So that's kind of my sort of thought process around that. You have friends there in Kalamazoo. That's awesome. So I find that I work with 3 the most. Yeah, like we have a similar, I think, mentality around it, Christian, or sort of group of people we work with. Poll, can we use the presets from laptops on our mobiles? Only my laptop is slow. Yes, you can. So how it works is, if you create the presets in Lightroom on your desktop, then those presets will synchronize to the mobile version. What's super annoying is you can't import presets on Lightroom Mobile. You can create presets on Lightroom Mobile. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So, like, let's say I wanted this set of settings that I have here to be a preset. It's pretty easy. All you got to do is tap the 3-dot menu here, and you have this Create Preset option, which is partway down. And if you do that, that preset will be created on your iPad in Lightroom, or your Android, I'm sorry, and then that will sync back to your desktop as well. But if it's something that, like if you bought presets from somebody, in order to get them onto your mobile version of Lightroom, you have to import them into Lightroom on your desktop and then let them synchronize over to your mobile version. I love that photo. Thank you very much, Diana. I really appreciate that. I love that photo too. I'm really happy with it. Same with any business. I tend to work with the same clients with my woodworking a lot more than a new client. Right, exactly. You're in Washington those days. Okay, that's a bummer. Well, maybe next time, because my plan is to go there again next year. So once I know when it is, I can let you know, and then maybe we can plan a meetup or something. Do a Michigan self-help photographer meetup or something like that. You're welcome, Paul. You're welcome. Okay. I think I should probably wrap this up. Yeah, so don't let me forget though, Mike, that I need to do that. So next year around like April or May, let me know if I haven't already said something. Let me know about to a reminder to tell you when that is, or you could just look it up if you keep that website, Mike, and you can see when it is, and then you can plan around that on your list. Excellent. Now, don't forget to use that list, right? Like your packing list. Rick says, talking about working with models, anyone has an opinion on the Jason Lanier angry photographer suspect? The model on Diana, she is cosplaying Carmen Sandiego in this photo. I love it. I love that you saw that. That's exactly who she's meant to be in this photo. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Rick, the Jason Lanier thing, I knew at some point somebody was going to ask about this, and so here's what I know, and here's what I think, and those are 2 very different things, right? What I know is Jade Galloway, the model, has accused Jason Lanier of inappropriate treatment. Professionally and sexually. And I don't know how far it went. And Jason Lanier has denied it, which is to be expected. So that's what I know. And then I know that Angry Photographer, YouTuber out there, is no fan of Jason Lanier. And probably is... I don't know if Angry Photographer has made any videos about this. I genuinely have no idea. If he has, I haven't watched it, so I have no idea about the whole Angry Photographer Jason Lanier thing. My principal thoughts on the situation with Jade Galloway and Jason Lanier is that it is wrong in every sense of the word for a photographer to take advantage of a model in any way, shape, or form, particularly sexually. But it's particularly egregious when it's an older man and a younger model, which is a common situation in this industry. If Jason Lanier did what he is accused of, and I'm saying if because I don't know. I believe Jade Galloway, but I also know that I will never actually know because I was not there. I was not party to any of the stuff that happened. So without that kind of knowledge, I have no right to actually make a declarative opinion as to say, oh, well, she's right and he's wrong, or he's right and she's wrong. Okay, that's the whole idea is, you know, if it ends up being a criminal situation, then it's innocent until proven guilty. You know, there is obviously the court of public opinion, and I don't like playing in that court, which is why I'm it sounds like I'm vacillating on it, but if he did the things that he did, then he deserves to, you know, suffer the repercussions of that. And if he didn't, then it's a really shitty situation. And that's kind of what I think about it, and that's kind of all I know about it. I don't like that kind of drama, and I don't like the drama in the community is an easy thing that people can kind of jump on and circle around and try to, you know, feed off of. And I'm not accusing any of you of feeding off of that or anything like that, but that's a thing that I've always tried to avoid because I care far more about the creation and us helping each other grow as photographers and people than I do about, you know, what so-and-so said about this or what so-and-so said or thinks about that. Exactly. It's a he said, she said, so it is absolutely tricky to talk about it. That's exactly the point I was trying to make. You said it way easier than I said it, but that is the gist of it. When it's he said, she said, it is not fair for me to make any kind of declaration of anything. Other than that, it is not right for anyone to take advantage of anyone else when you're in a power dynamic like that. And you know, that's just not, it's not right. We are human beings and we should treat each other with respect in all situations. Yeah, or in this case, he said, she said, the other dude yelled. Right. Yeah, that's Angry Photographer. Well, it says it in the name. So that was me waffling a lot because, you know, I don't feel qualified or right saying anything more than what I've already said. And I hope you guys appreciate and respect that because it's, you know, it would be easy for me to take a stand and say, you know, Jason Lanier is a piece of crap and Jade Galloway, you know, is absolutely right. But I just actually don't know. I respect Jade Galloway. I don't know her any more than I know Jason Lanier, but I respect her as a person and her right to share her experience and her story. And I respect Jason Lanier's right to defend himself. And however that shakes out is going to end up being between them and, you know, whatever other entities need to get involved to sort it out if it comes to that. And that's just it. That's why I'm a fan of this channel and I join these streams. Well, I appreciate that, Drew. I genuinely do. You know, it means a lot to me that other people respect that because it's, you know, I was going to say it's hard, but it's not really hard. You know, I'm just focusing on the things that that are important to me, which is you guys and this experience of photography together. But when stuff like this comes up, I always feel conflicted about it because in ways it is important to talk about these kinds of things in the macro point of view, right? Because, you know, the specific situation of what's happening between Jade Galloway and Jason Lanier and Angry Photographer is a situation that is unfortunate. Because human beings are being hurt, and everybody loses in the end, right? Regardless of what actually happened, Jade Galloway clearly seemed to have negative experiences with Jason Lanier, and that sucks because we don't want that to happen. Jason Lanier is being hurt because whether or not it's true, his reputation is going to take a pretty serious hit from this. You know, and there are people who are going to forever associate him with these accusations, rightfully or wrongfully, right? And those are all things that suck. You know, but if we pull away from that situation and we say, okay, as human beings, how should we act in these kinds of situations? That's where I think the lessons are, and that's where the discussion should be. You know, understanding, as an example, that Jason Lanier may, and I'm sure does, very much believe that he didn't do anything wrong. And at the same time, Jade Galloway, I'm sure, very much believes that she was taken advantage of and you know, inappropriately, you know, the right words to say, because I don't know anything about the situation, but she, you know, she is a human being with her own experience, and two different people can be in the same situation and come away from that situation believing two completely different things happened, and that's one of the biggest problems with situations like this, right? They both can be right. And I think some people have a hard time reconciling even that, you know, that kind of thing, because we all believe that there's right and there's wrong. But that's just not true, because we live in a world that's full of grays. And we all have our own experiences, and those experiences are valid because we lived them. So, God, do I sound like the wishiest, washiest motherfucker ever, or what? Now go take some black and white photos. Right! Good way of putting it while getting involved. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. This is the most neutral opinion I've ever heard about anything. Bravo. Yeah. I guess, yeah. I'm taking everything you said out of context. I mean, genuinely, I know you're not doing that. I know you're joking. But that is also, like, genuinely a concern that all people who sort of put themselves out onto the internet have. You know, somebody could come to this video, take out 2-3 words that I said, and use that out of context. And I don't believe any of you are going to do that. And even if you did, I have the full video to, you know, to show what I actually said and whatever. But, you know, this is the world we live in, right? Yeah, there are 7 billion or so views of the universe. That's exactly my point. And we have to be respectful of all of those views, with the understanding that sometimes people do things wrong. And if things are done wrong, then we have to deal with that as well. We'll stick up for you. You guys are awesome. Hello, Emmanuel. How's it going? I was actually just getting ready to wrap up. Seems like the streams are always right at the wrong time for you, Emmanuel. Okay, so yeah, we should wrap this up before I dig my neutral hole deeper. Is it Sweden that's always neutral? Am I playing Sweden here? All right, so one more time, if you guys could and would see fit to support me with what I do here, you can do this in Switzerland, not Sweden. Switzerland. Thank you, Harley. I always sucked at geography, too. Stay neutral until I have perfected photography. You got it, Rick. If you would see fit to do so, you could check out my merch store at shp.photo/merch, where you could equivocate like I just did and maybe make a decision to buy some merch, or maybe not make a decision to buy some merch, because the universe has so many perspectives that it can be crippling as to what we should or we shouldn't do. But maybe you'd actually find it in you to pick up a hoodie or a mug or a phone case or something like that. And that would be amazing, because it helps me, and it hopefully helps you sport a little bit of the pride of being a photographer and experiencing photography with everybody, right? Need one of those shirts. And if you wanted to take it a step further, you could become a patron at my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heniadis, and be a regular monthly contributing supporter, which is something that is incredible and amazing to me. And I appreciate so much the patrons that I have. There are some pretty cool perks there that you can join and find, and these links are in the description of the video. And once again, I want to shout out and say thank you to the current patrons that I have: Tim and Mike and PM and Elaine and my brain, Michael, and oh my God, I'm feeling like a terrible human being now because I can't remember who everybody's names. I should make a list of these people. So let me just go to my Patreon and look, so I can actually. Drew, yeah, Drew. Thank you, Drew. Drew, you're a patron. Thank you, Drew. God, I feel like such a dumbass right now. Oh God, you guys are awesome. I still got, okay, Elaine and Drew and Michael and Mike and PM and Tim. You guys are amazing. All of you are amazing, though. So thank you very much for hanging out. Paul, are you a patron? Are you one of my patrons? I'm looking at my list. I have Elaine and Drew and Michael and Mike and Tim. Unless I'm missing something. Or maybe Patreon's giving me all the wrong names. Oh, okay. Well, the other thing, too, is, like I said before, if financial support doesn't work, which I totally get, you guys hanging out with me is tremendous, and sharing my channel and sharing my videos and letting people know about what I do is a huge help as well. It really is. I cannot stress enough how much it really means when you guys share the things that I create with other people who you think might enjoy them, whether it's my videos or my Instagram or anything else. So all of that also helps, and that's tremendous. So with that, on that note, I'm busy paying for models for my portrait to help at the moment. Dude, you do not have to apologize. You do not have to apologize. You being here, like I said, is tremendous, and I appreciate that as well. So I never want any of you to feel bad if you can't buy merch or become a patron or something like that. I never want you to feel bad for that, so please don't. I'm never trying to shame any of you into supporting me financially if it doesn't work for you. It's something there if you can afford to do it and you want to do it because you feel that this is valuable to you. And that's, you know, that's what it should be. And like I said, if you can't, that's great, that's fine. Share my stuff, and that's amazing too. I'm done rambling on like a damn fool. You guys made it so I didn't edit anything. So another Friday successfully not editing anything live stream. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Please have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Make sure you get out there and take some damn photos. I will see you Monday for Photo Blab. Have a great weekend, everybody. Jazz fingers while I find my stop button. Here we go. Oh, I think I found it. Bye.